And this is the story of my life, is that I spend time in the Word and then things just pop out. And things, flat tires, the Spirit speaks to me through flat tires. And I love spending time with people, Kobe, because through your own misery, the Lord speaks to me. So I don't always have to experience it. Like, I can experience it on behalf of you. And so I really appreciate that. And so, we're getting everything ready, and we're traveling, and we're packing all of our baggage and our luggage, and boom, the Word just opened up to me, because we're all on a journey. We're all going somewhere. We're all going through different phases and stages of life, and you're all looking at where you want to be, and you're planting yourself in soil, you're planting yourself in a church, and you're eager to press into something that you know you don't have. And so that's why we take pride as a church to know, like, every year we're going somewhere. We don't just roll over and preach a sermon. We're seeking the Lord of, like, where do you want to lead your people? So when we're in October, when we're in November, I'm praying, all right, well, Killen is now in our church. And so where do you want to take him in his relationship to the Lord? He wasn't here when we started Seek First, but he is here as we live by faith. So the Lord brought you in at just the right time. So that as a pastor, how do I lead your thinking in the pursuit that the Lord has for you? How do I lead you in your pursuit for him? We got the seek first part. We got Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God. Like, I feel strongly that we got that, because I've heard something. I've heard fruit of many people wanting to read the whole Bible in a year. So how many of you want to read the whole Bible in a year? How many of you have committed this year, like, I'm going to read, no, I'm saved. It's like, encounter with Jesus. How many of you are dedicated? You're like, I don't want to be held accountable. How many of you are reading the Bible this whole year? Like, you've made that decision before. Okay, hold on. Keep going. How many of you just now are like, I'm sitting next to somebody who's doing it, and now I want to change my mind, and now I want to be like, I want to raise. Anybody else going to jump in? Okay, here's the reason. Because many of you will make the choice of reading the Bible, and you're surrounding yourself with people who have never read the whole Bible before. It's phenomenal. You'll surround yourself with people who are saying, I want to, but they've never once accomplished actually reading the whole Bible in a year. That's phenomenal. The challenge is every single one of you aren't going to read the whole Bible in a year, because you surrounded yourself by people who haven't read the whole Bible in a year. And that's what we have. We have tons of people who have formed groups and seasons of life, a bunch of moms who have no direction and who have lost their identity and who they are, and they're struggling, and they form a mom's group. And so 6 years later, they're still struggling as moms, because they've surrounded themselves with a bunch of moms who have no direction and who have lost their identity, and they're only a mother, and this is just what I am. And now I'm going to read some more books and create a small group about moms having a hard life. And then now I'm a mom who's just stuck. Or you're a young adult and you're trying to develop boundaries, and so you get other single ladies together or other single men together, and you formulate a good book, and you're just like, yes, we're going to do a book study on not having a dating. We don't need dating. We've kissed dating goodbye. 2023, I'm going to be single, and it's just me and Jesus. He's the only man in my life, and we're going to create a book. And then you end 2023, you're going into 2024, and you're just like, why am I still single? Because you created a group and a book study to follow Jesus, which is great, but you've surrounded yourself with other ladies who all they do is stay home all day, never going out to seek who the Lord might have for them, never going to fill a water jug and realize that there Jacob is at that water well, and all you had to do was go, because he was praying for you. He was praying for a woman. He was praying for somebody who would be holding a camera in an orange shirt. And so he comes to church, and that's the day you say, I'm not going to go to church. I got him. But see, we're encouraged, Killen, because our thought process is we got to live life in community. I got to live life surrounded with like-minded people, because that's what we're taught in the church, because it's good. It produces fruit. To surround yourself with like-minded people does something. It motivates us. I don't go to the gym with somebody who doesn't want to go. I go to the gym with people who want to go. I want to be motivated to go. I want to be motivated in worship. So she's going to start doing jazzercise in the middle of worship. We're going to dance, and we're going to bring energy. We're going to be singing. We're going to be having theatrical lights, not for the purpose of, you're trying to be showy. No, we're excited about what we're doing. And when we throw a party for kids, there's always bubbles. In the Hispanic culture, there's always piñatas. But there's one thing we have in common. There's always cake. There's always cake. There's always an element, and the element in the church is Jesus, and there's always a Jesus. And the lacking of many groups is they formulate a group to do something, and they leave Jesus out of it. I want to set you up for success here. 2023, y'all ready? I want to set you up for success. This isn't in my notes because I don't have them. Success, right here. You ready? Form a group of people who want to do the same thing as you. So let's use this as an example. I'm going to read the whole Bible in a year. You want to read it, you want to read it, you want to read it. Okay. Then invite somebody who has already done it 50 times so they can then mentor you how to do it. I worked at a gym for 5 years. Never once actually worked out. I had to pay for personal training. I had to pay for somebody to come in my office and say, hey, it's time to go work out. Because I had tons of excuses. Oh, let me just finish. Let me just hold on a minute. Because you surround yourself with like-minded people and they justify your excuses. Oh, it's just you don't understand my schedule. You don't understand my kids. You don't understand I work from 3 to 3. You don't understand I get no sleep. You don't understand I can't sleep. You don't understand I didn't eat correctly. You don't understand I'm just hungry right now. You don't understand I just got my work schedule. I work 80 hours. I got 2 jobs. You don't understand. Yeah, I got no fuel in the car. You don't understand my car's in the shop. You don't understand I got to make this payment. You don't understand I got to bake cookies. Whoops. You don't understand you tell that to somebody in your group. No, I feel you. No, I get you. Just try later. Just it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. What you need is somebody who has lived it and has said, you call that an excuse right there. Life is always going to be busy. You want to tell me how your kid kept you up last night? Let me tell you about my 7 that kept me up last night. You want to tell me how you don't have any money? Let me tell you about this Costco haul I just saw. $700 on one visit. Let me tell you. You surround yourself with a group of people and you invite somebody in who is developing the fruit and you say, I'm ready to go somewhere I'm not. Because if you start off with just a group, you'll end the year and it'll be you and that group and you'll be tight-knit, strong together, most likely, not always, but most likely just in the same position as you started. This church is wanting to go somewhere. This church is going somewhere, and every year we're going somewhere. And for those of you who have been with us for 5-6 years, you've seen it. You've seen the stronger and stronger in your marriage. You've seen what creating a place does when everybody is sick. You still create a place for you to be able to experience the holiness. You're washing dishes. You got laundry because your roommate left it in the dryer and in the washer, and it's all moldy. I'm going to create a place right here, right where there's a bunch of mice running rampant. I'm going to create a place right here. I'm going to create a place right here in this hostile, toxic environment called my marriage. And I'm going to create a place right here to just seek the Lord. We got the seek first part. We got the seek first. Now we want to live righteously. And in living righteously requires you to move. It requires you to go from one way of living to another way of living. I want you to turn with me to James 1:22. James 1:22. It's not going to be on the screen. It might be if we can do that, because as we keep moving forward, we start to see the Lord move through what we're doing because He's always moving. James 1:22. Most of you are familiar with this verse. If you are a member of Christian Ministries Church and don't have this tattooed along the back of your neck yet, then you are not in our clique. So MS-13 have it tattooed on their body. You need to have James 1:22 tattooed on your body. This is what we rest on. So this is what's tattooed on both cheeks, so that way you sit on His word daily. It says, don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. It does not say to tattoo this on your cheeks, but there's so many things running through my head, I got to filter. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you're only fooling yourself. James 1:22, be a doer of the word, not merely a listener. Otherwise, you're only fooling yourself. For if you listen to the word and don't obey it, if you listen to the word and don't apply it, it is like looking at your face in the mirror. You may see yourself, but then you walk away and you forget what you look like. Verse 25. But if you look carefully into the perfect law that sets you free, and if you do what it says and don't forget what you heard, then God will bless you for doing it. If you look carefully into the perfect law that sets you free. Why do we read the whole Bible in a year? Because I'm looking carefully for something that I missed last year. I've read it too many times. I get tired of reading it. Can I be real? I've read it too many times, and I'm tired of reading Genesis. I told Walker this past week, man, I'm struggling because I'm in Genesis right now, man. Like, I'm tired of Genesis. I get it. I get Joseph. I get Jacob. I get Abraham and Abram. I get how there was a bunch of lying that happened with Abraham. He planted the seed in his generation of lies, and then Jacob lied, and then Isaac lied, and they're all just a bunch of lies. Like, I get it. I can preach it backwards and forwards. I don't need to read Genesis again, but for the love of God, he put genealogies in there. I don't want to read a genealogy. I'm not looking forward to getting into Leviticus. And so when you're in March and you're like, you know what, I'm going to jump back in. He's right. I preach a message in March. It's going to be phenomenal. I already know it's going to be phenomenal. My notes are going to be there. And you're going to say, I'm going to jump right in. And you open it up to Leviticus. And you got people who would say, don't start in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Jump right to John. Just go to Mark. Well, that's why you're confused on how you were created. That's why you're confused about what bathroom to go to, confused who to marry, confused who created the world. No, we start in Genesis. I know why we start in Genesis. I know why there's a beginning and why we have to read it. I know why the schools want to take it out. I understand why. But if you look carefully into the perfect law that sets you free, and if you do what it says and don't forget what you heard, then God will bless you for doing it. The reason why we don't just need accountability, but we need mentorship is because mentorship will take us somewhere that we're trying to go. Accountability just tells you you're messing up. Don't do that. Accountability is good because it helps you stay accountable. But mentorship takes you somewhere that you're not. Mentorship tells you that boy that you're dating. Accountability says he's cute, but I don't know. You probably need to pray about it. Mentorship will say he's cute, but he's the devil incarnate. He doesn't go to church. He swears at his mom. He doesn't have a job. He has no savings. You pay for every single meal. I don't know why your accountability group is telling you, as long as you stay pure. No, fool. Stop being a fool. Can I just say something right here? Okay. So I want to take our church somewhere that we're not. I want to get a little bit more animated. Now, I don't want to lose the central theme of the gospel, the good news. And so I want to recognize that we don't want to just animate for, applause. And you're just like, woo. But I want to know that you're receiving what I'm putting down. I'm a funny dude. I think I'm funny. Funny looking. That's not what I'm talking about, Colby. I'm also words of affirmation, so I feel pretty good when you say something. But I want you to be responsive, because what happens is like attracts like. And the next thing that's going to happen, Nelly, is that your girl won't know how to worship because she's not surrounded by worshipers. She's not going to know how to listen because she's not surrounded by listeners. So the more that you're talking during the service, then you're going to create an environment where other listeners then begin to talk, and then no message will ever be heard. And if no message is heard, then no message will ever be applied. And that right there is why we have a lot of Christians who are struggling, because they've heard the message, but they haven't applied the message, and they've only been fooling themselves. If you claim to be religious but don't control your tongue, accountability will say, we should probably change the way we speak. Accountability will create good opportunities. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, accountability might create like a swear jar. And every single time you say a word, you drop some change in this swear jar, and then you give that offering to the Lord. That is, hypothetically speaking, it's a great idea if anybody ever wanted you to try that. Isn't that such a good idea? Yeah. And so that's how we're able to keep the lights on, because of the swear jar, because there is growth and there is movement forward. Accountability does something. It does something. And mentorship helps. Accountability stops you from doing something. Mentorship replaces what you are doing with something else. There's nothing wrong with your emotion, but it's how you're expressing your emotion. So then how do you then express that frustration? Well, let's look at your life and how you've been expressing yourself and see how the Lord is wanting to move through who He's created you to be. Accountability just says stop. Mentorship takes you somewhere. I want us to grab a hold of this, because we're going to spend a couple of weeks on this. I already felt like we were supposed to do that. And judging by the fact that I don't have my 20 pages of notes, I'm going to say that we're going to spend some time on this. Now, we were traveling somewhere. I'm ready for something, okay? And Autumn, you got a lot of work this week, by the way, in case you were curious. Okay, so we're traveling, and I need my 2 children back in the back. And then let's see who else we got. Josiah, where's Josiah? Josiah, yeah, y'all are going to be a representation of what it looks like every single time that we are going somewhere. So if you can go with Mom over here, get your fine, handsome self through here, and then you're just going to bring it right up here. We're just going to drop it. You're going to drop it right there. Excellent. And so we are traveling somewhere as a church. Keep your squirrel moments. I'm going to tell you what you're going to see. You're just going to see people do luggage. If that catches your attention more than God's word, then you got some problems. Okay, but we're going somewhere. As a church, we're going somewhere. And every single year, we highlight a theme because we're wanting to move somewhere that we are not. And in doing that, it requires us to move. We're going to go somewhere, not physically, but we're going to go somewhere as a church. I'm making a dedication to lock arms with Christian ministries so that I can be mentored to be taken somewhere that I'm not. And so as we are grabbing all of our stuff, you start to pack. You brought out the best one. I need an air pump for that one. We start to pack all of our stuff. And for our family, it's more than just one luggage. For our family, we got to load up. There's 9 of us. For our family, we don't eat out every single meal. It means we cook every single meal. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Aubrey is a little intentional on how she produces meals. So we can't just take anything. We can't, like most people, shop at a Walmart when we arrive, because we got to shop at Trader Joe's. And we have to have specific ingredients to work with. And we can't just use any salt. We have to have Himalayan salt. And we can't just have any hot sauce. We have to have non-high fructose corn syrup, non-hot. We can't just use any ketchup. If we're going to do hot dogs, we can't get hot dogs there or marshmallows there. We got to go to Sprouts and Trader Joe's, and we're going somewhere in the middle of nowhere that doesn't have any of those stores, an hour and a half away, so we have to go shopping before we go, which means that we have to load all that up with us to take us somewhere that we know we want to go. So we got clothes, which everybody takes. You got luggage. But we got more people than we got beds where we go. So we got to load up air mattresses. We've gone places to Airbnbs, and they've had pots, but they don't got pots like ours. No. They got silicone polyester pots that break Teflon, and it gets in your food and does something to you and you die. Everything that we do, it makes us die, right? So at this point, I just hear it. I'm just like, you had me at no. And so what I typically do is I find all the no things. Well, when you go traveling out and about and your HEB looks like a gas station, they don't have a lot of no things. So we take all that. We load it up and we take specific knives, because we can't just use any knives killing. It has to be a $150 knife that can cut through a finger. We're at this Airbnb. I don't know if you saw those knives. Literally, you could bend the knife. It took 3 people to open up a can with a can opener, that the last person finally got one of those knives and just started opening up the can. You hear me? We're taking stuff with us. We've planned and prepared. And what I want to tell you is that we're going somewhere, and in order to go somewhere, you're going to have to pack. But here's the thing. As we were getting, all of our coffee into a duffel bag, and getting all of our medicine into a box, and as we were getting all of our snack foods that we were going to eat there and separating them from the snacks that we were going to eat in the van, and the games we were going to play there, putting them in a bin, and getting the other games that we were going to play on the road into another bin, and as we were getting all the diapers that we're going to use there, but not the diapers that we're going to use here, and separating the diaper bag from the regular bag, and this is the medicine we're going to take with us in case we don't feel good on the ride, but this is the medicine that we're going to use when we're already there, and then these are the oils that we can use in the van, but we definitely don't want to use these oils in the van because they're hot. You know what I'm saying? And so you're separating cargo that you're taking in carry-on bags. It just all starts to click. We flew somebody down from Colorado, and she's skipping church today, so God love her. But we flew somebody down to help us take care of our kids, and it was $75 round trip to fly her. Phenomenal, as the Lord was with us, to fly her from Colorado to Houston, back to Colorado. $75 total round trip. Phenomenal. Excellent. Okay. It was $120 for her to bring her baggage. So I gave her the option, Autumn. I said, we can either pay you the $120, or I can pay Spirit Airlines $120. And she left all of her baggage behind because the cost wasn't worth it. I want to tell you today, your baggage, not all of it's worth it. And as my kids are bringing all their stuff, I had to give them that hard line because, man, they wanted to bring their whole rooms. They wanted to bring, does that sound right? They wanted to just bring everything. They wanted to bring the earrings they weren't going to wear that we know might get lost on the way. That would be then devastating because they're special. They wanted to bring 18 different pillows. Making fun, it was probably only like 2, but it felt like 18 because there's 7. 7 times 2 is 14. You get my math. Thank you. I got one person who understands what it's like to have 7 kids. Thanks. And they're wanting to take all of these things with them, and it's just not worth it all. It's not worth it all. And I'm telling you, your baggage that you want to take into 2023 is not worth it. Some things you take, and some things you don't. And it's your job to seek the Lord to figure out, what do I take with me and what do I don't? Can we go? You ready, Isabella? Let's go to, I thought that was in Spanish. Let's go to Genesis chapter 12. Take me to Genesis chapter 12. This is probably what it looks like when Autumn goes, I would imagine, on vacation. Is all her stuff here right here? Is that what it looks like, Tom? As we've gone older, go to 11. Go to 11. Give me Genesis 11 verse 31. Genesis 11 verse 31. As we've gotten older, we've just taken more. I used to, Walker, take 1 pair of pants, which is the pants that I wore, take 1 pair of shoes, which is shoes that I wore, and I can fit everything into a backpack. And then I've gotten married and recognized that we have to take. She wants me to change a little bit more. I don't understand. I would wear 1 undershirt and I would just change the top shirt over and over again. That's probably disgusting for many of you, but I was like, no, it looks like I've changed. And that's our church. Not our church, but that's the church. I had to turn around for that one. All right, can I get a volunteer to fill that up? Walker, you ready? You remember this? This is kind of finicky here. You gotta. It's okay. That's a quick fill. Yeah. So it'll be ready by next week. So we're traveling to Arkansas, and I'll let him fill that up first and then tell this story. Let's look at Genesis 11 because we're here to study his word. One day, Terah took his son Abram. Abram, in case you don't know, if you haven't read Genesis, Abram is Abraham. And the Lord changes his name from Abram to Abraham here in a couple of chapters. So Abram is Abraham. He took Abram. Terah is dad. We can put that context clues together, Josie, because you're in CMA. That's what we're learning, right? So Terah is the father of Abram. His daughter-in-law, Sarai. So then we know that now Abram is married to Sarai and his grandson Lot. And they moved from Ur of the Chaldeans. He was headed for the land of Canaan, which is considered the promised land. We will find that out later. But they stopped at Haran and settled there. Terah lived for 205 years and then died while still in Haran. Here is Abram's dad, and we'll call him Abraham because that's what we're most familiar with. Here is Abraham's dad, and Abraham's dad is leading them to the promised land, yet they are unaware that they're being led there. Abraham's dad is leading the family somewhere, and then the dad gets tired, and they stop somewhere to rest, they stop somewhere to settle, and then he dies. Your parents might have led you somewhere, and now you're stuck because of decisions they've made. Maybe you're stuck figuring out how to be married faithfully. Maybe you're stuck figuring out how to manage finances. Maybe you're stuck figuring out how to have friends. Maybe you're stuck figuring out how to get through life without anxiety. Maybe you're stuck figuring out how to just have vision. Maybe you're stuck not being a yes man because your parents just said yes to everything. Maybe you've been led somewhere by the generation before you, whether if it was an uncle, aunt, grandmother. Maybe you were led somewhere, and the Lord, I want you to know, was leading your family the whole time, whether you knew him or not. He had his eye on you to take you somewhere that he has already predestined for you to be. And here Abram is, and he's just along for the ride. Right now, you're just along for the ride. Gabe, you're staying. Gabe, you're going. Amelia, you're staying. Amelia, you're going to sleep. Amelia, you're staying in your car seat. Amelia, you're not getting out. Micah's screaming like crazy. You stuck like Chuck. I don't know, we got 3 hours left. We're not getting you out. This is where you are. You're doing a great job, Walker. And so here they are, and they're on pursuit to where the Lord is leading them, but they don't even know that he's leading them there. On pursuit for that man, but it shouldn't be your focal point. On pursuit for that job, but it shouldn't be your focal point. Abraham is being led somewhere that he wasn't even considering. And the beauty of it, and Bree will contest to this, the beauty is that while you are seeking him, he will lead you to what you didn't even realize he was leading you to. While you are seeking, it's funny because I feel like the word says something like he will give you the desires of your heart, But half of the time we don't even know what those desires are because we just think the desire is to get $100,000 a year, but then you find yourself $100,000 in debt. You're taking forever, dude. All right. Genesis chapter 12. Abraham is now a man. He's married. We already knew that. His father is deceased. This puts the authority on Abraham to now make the decisions to lead the family. In our culture, you are 18 years old. You are deciding to move out of the house. And while the government says you can be 26 to be under your parents' care and under their insurance, and they can pay all your bills, and they're supposed to support you to college, and they're supposed to help pay for your wedding, and they're supposed to help do all these things for you, and now your parents are $1,000 in debt, but you live in really free, and you feel living your good life. While our society says that wasn't how they did before. Before they took authority at a young age, and Abraham already had the authority. He was already walking with the authority, and so now it was his time to then move. He was ready. He was eager because the Lord says to Abraham, leave your native country, your relatives, your fathers, and go to the land I will show you. Many of you are familiar with this, but Romans 10:17 says faith comes by hearing the word, not having heard. So let's hear it again. I will make you into a great nation, verse 2. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse who treat you with contempt. So all the families on earth will be blessed through you. Verse 4. That's a good sound. That means it's full. Yeah. So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed, and Lot went with him. So you read the Bible, Ellie, and you read it super fast, and sometimes you don't realize, because many of you might not have caught this. The Lord told him to do something, and then Abraham didn't do the thing that the Lord told him to do. The Lord told Abraham to leave your native country. The Lord told Abraham to leave his kinfolk, to leave your relatives. And Abraham was just super close to Lot. Didn't want to leave Lot behind, because he's my cousin. He's been everywhere with me. I know you're leading me somewhere. I heard what you told me, but I'm going to take this with me. Even though I heard what you said, I know what you said. I jotted down on my tablet what you said, but you don't understand. Lot, accountability will say, well, at least you are going. Mentorship will say, that's not what the Lord said. At least you're getting married before you have sex. Mentorship will say, but they're not even a believer. As a Christian believer, you are not allowed to marry an unbeliever. You are not, what the Bible says, equally yoked. You are not on the same page. The reason why we say that is not because we think less or think they're not valued. They're highly valued. Their heart for salvation, them being saved, is the foundation that everything is built upon. So Abraham departed as the Lord had instructed. Now, grammar was added later. But this division here helps us realize what he actually obeyed. He obeyed as the Lord had told him to depart. But he took Lot with him. We see this throughout Scripture. We see this with Abraham and Lot. For those of you who don't know, as you read the whole Bible in a year, you're going to see this in Genesis. Lot brings a lot of trouble to Abraham. Not him personally, but his choices bring a lot of trouble. Him as a person marries a woman who brings a lot of trouble. Can't go down that route. Moses was called. Moses was called to go to Pharaoh. Moses brought Aaron. Aaron brought problems. God called Moses. God sent Moses. Moses said, can I at least take Aaron? See, we want to blame the Lord for what's around, but really we're the ones who are bringing baggage with us and saying, well, I'm following you. The Lord said to leave it all behind. And over the next couple of weeks, I want to help demonstrate what luggage you're supposed to take and what baggage you're supposed to leave behind. To help understand what is necessary to take and then what is convenient to take. So we got a good illustration here. For those of you who don't know, this is an air mattress. I love this because I love that you help me preach through your own misery. So we're at this conference and we are living our best life because we live young and free. And so she wants to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning. So that means I stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the way that works. And so Friday night, we all have our, what is it called? You have a lot of energy, adrenaline. You know, you're just like, you're hyped because you just got there. You know, Friday morning, you're hyped because it's like it's the first day. We're kicking off this conference with a bunch of believers, and you just know the Spirit of God is going to move because one puts 1,000, 2 puts 10,000. You know, 2 more gathered, there Jesus is. And so you just know, like, yes, like we're going to have a phenomenal time. So Friday was great. I mean, you're talking about 20 hours probably of running off of. Then Saturday morning comes. Saturday morning is the day we're supposed to leave Colby because we got church Sunday. So we're supposed to be out at a specific time. And so we're supposed to have packed before we left so that we can hit the road and then go. And so I go upstairs and I see something upstairs that was left. I love this. I love it. I see that was left and I said, oh, they must have left this behind by accident. Because it's very obvious in a room that there's a huge air mattress there. And so I do what every good Christian brother does. I get, on my hands and knees and pray to the Lord for salvation, and because I'm having to pick up somebody else's mess. And so I start getting out the air and get it all buckled in, get into the van because I'm a good Christian brother. I'm going to help somebody out. I'm going to help somebody carry their baggage. I call them up and I say, hey, I'm calling to let them know, hey, I got your air mattress. I don't know if you left it behind. I just want to let you know, like, I got it. Want to make sure it's not the Airbnbs, that it was yours because it's in the back of my van. And they said it was too much trouble. I just left it behind. Now, for some of you, that might be like, no big deal. They left it behind for us. No big deal. That's no big deal. It's no big deal. Okay. What teaches something is it wasn't worth the trouble to take with me. That's what I want you to get a hold of. There's no judgment. It teaches it's not worth to take it where I'm going. I laid on it. I slept on it. It brought me rest for a season. And then when the Lord said it's time to go, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that where I'm going. I don't need that where I'm going because where I'm going has a comfortable bed and I'm ready to get back where I'm going. So you might look at that and you might be the church of today and judge why so, how could so, what? I look at that and I say, wow, what a lesson. What a lesson that you are taking things into 2023 with you that needs to stay in the past. It doesn't go with us. I got tons of people who tell me they hate moving. They hate packing up everything. Here's something for you. Just leave it all behind. Have you an estate sale? Sell it all. Sell it all. Just take you and an air mattress. Or stop complaining and load up all your junk and take it with you. Abraham departed as the Lord had instructed, and Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife, which was permitted. He took his nephew, which was not permitted, and all of his wealth and livestock and all the people he had taken into the household at Haran, which is controversial whether it was okay to take or not. And he headed for the land of Canaan. We are going somewhere. As a church, we're going somewhere. And I don't think it's a good idea for you to load up that hurt from 12 years ago and take it with us. Now, I know you want to. I know you said you were sorry. But I want to remind you that 20 years ago, you did detestable things. In your lonely place, you said the worst things you could ever say to a mom, to a dad, to a sibling. You looked at some horrible images. You rolled up some horrible things. You did some lines that you should have never done. You spoken words. You stolen things. And while you did all that, Jesus died, forgave, and doesn't bring it up ever again. Now you remember that, because when you're out here and you hit that road and you're driving down the street and you said, yeah, because that's what I heard all of you when you're nodding your head quietly. Give me words next time. When you're out there and that spouse, well, just because last year, I'm going somewhere. Last year, you're absolutely right. Last year, you're right. And Jesus died for me. And he forgave me. And I need your forgiveness. And if you can't forgive me right now, then you need to take some time with Jesus and you need to seek forgiveness. Because we're going somewhere. I'm going somewhere at 6 a.m. in the morning in my mind. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to lead. I'm ready to go. Me and Walker, we were ready to go. Bree was ready to go. So watch this, Bree. You go with those who are ready to go. Now, those of you who married, you don't go with somebody else. I heard at church, so I'm like, deuces. Accountability just reflects what you already know is wrong. Mentorship takes you where you are and leads you somewhere different. We're stepping into a season of living by faith, and that's going to require us to live with mentorship. Y'all stand with me.